Hi everyone, it's Suey here. It's been a while. It's about time I come back on here and talk about some of the books I've been reading this past little while and what I have planned for the next month. Yeah, I totally skipped a monthly wrap-up in June because I was in the middle of all this family stuff that was happening and events and traveling and everything was going on. And so I'm gonna do 2 months worth right now. And I had to look back on my May wrap up to see where I even left off. So hopefully I've figured out what I've read and what I haven't in the past little bit. If you will check on the channel, I have put up a couple of little bookstore tours of a couple of bookstores that we ended up at in Oregon. And so if you want to check those out, that'd be awesome. Where I left off last time, I was reading a little novella called The Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. And so I finished that one in June. That was cute and fun. Really enjoyed it. And then I was reading Lessons in Chemistry for June's book club. So got that one done, and we did have book club. There wasn't very many people that came to it, which made me sad because I was expecting a rousing discussion. For those of us who did come, we did have a fun little discussion. We're noticing that wherever people are in their lives is what they see in that book. It's really interesting, just the perspectives people have on it. I also finished Spare in June. I did put up a review of that one, and got some interesting comments back on that one. We'll be talking about that one at book club in November, and I feel like we might have a bit of a rousing discussion there whenever I bring up Spare anywhere. I did talk about it at our family reunion in July, and wow, people had opinions even there, and they've not even read the book. Prince Harry brings out a lot of interesting feelings in people, I've decided, and I don't know why that is. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I talked about my feelings about that in my review, so if you missed that, be sure to go check it out. And then I read one other cute little one called Not Here to Stay Friends, which I bought at a bookstore a couple months ago. Cute, fun little fluffy romance. Friends to lovers. Friends to lovers, right? Yeah. Enjoyed that one. So that was my June. In the end of June, I had a good start on this one. The House. I have to look at it. The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I heard so much about this one. So I managed to finish this one in July, kind of before I took off to Oregon. It was a very unique book. I read this one because I felt like I heard people saying that it was a kind of a feel-good, happy, heartwarming story, and it was, but it was very different from what I expected. So yeah, it's about a guy who works for this kind of yucky company who takes care of magical children, or they keep their eye on them, and they're fostered out, I guess. And so this house on the edge of the sea has some really unique kids in it. And so the dude that works for the company, he goes to this house to check on them and to kind of make a report of what's going on there. And in the meantime, he falls in love with all of them, the foster dad of the house plus all the kids. And so it's kind of that story of him kind of making this change and letting those people into his life. So it was really cute, but very different. Yeah. So magical creatures, for sure. So if you like that kind of thing. I had gotten Casey West, one of my favorite authors, and I had bought her book, Borrow My Heart. So I read that one quite quickly. It's a fake boyfriend kind of a story. So the girl notices that the guy has come into the coffee shop and is he's meeting up with somebody online, and that online person doesn't show. So she steps in and pretends to be that online person for him. And then they start hanging out, and he thinks that she is this other person. That's the premise of this one. Really cute dogs in this one because she works at a pet store, so if you like that. But yeah, fun fluff for the summer. Perfect. And then I read Once Upon a Prom. This one's by Kat Cho. Kat Cho. And this was a read along for the K-Tropathon that was hosted by Christy and Tiffany and Yoon. I decided it wasn't my most favorite K-pop romance. I don't think I really liked the dude that much in it. His name is Robbie. He's Korean American, and he ends up going to Korea to be in a K-pop band, and then he comes back and happens to be in the area when it's prom time for our girl and asks her to prom, which he had promised to do back when they were 10 years old, when they were friends before he went to Korea. So that's the premise of this one. And it's really cute, and it does address a lot of the interesting things that go on in the K-pop industry. I mean, it was fun, but I feel like there's been other K-pop romances that I got into a little bit more. And then I read Crying in H Mart for book club for our memoir month. July is our official month to do memoirs, where we all pick a different memoir and then we share it at book club. So that's kind of different from what we usually do at book club. And this one's been on my list forever and ever. So I read this one, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I really enjoyed it. Lots of talk about Korean food. It's heard the story of her mother dying from cancer. So we get very much detail about her mom dying, which I was not expecting either. Yeah, it's pretty heart-wrenching. And she talks about how she hopes to stay connected to her mother through food. All the memories that are tied up with her and them cooking Korean food together. So that's what this one is about. Like I said at book club, I'm surprised at how popular this book has been over the years, because I see it being popular with people who are into Korean culture and Korean stuff. But if you're not into that stuff, there's so much talk about Korean food in here that it might just be like really boring. So I am just surprised that it's so popular, and it's still on the bestseller list even now after all these years. It's been a few years now, I think. But anyway, I'm finally glad to have gotten to this one. Yeah, so I read 4 in June, one of them just being the little novella, and then finishing up Spare, which I'd had half read, and then 4 in July while I've been out and about. 3 of those were while I was in Oregon. So go me for getting 3 books done while I was tending grandkids. Whenever we had downtime, I would just read because I didn't have any other of my projects there to do. So, and in August, so far I have started Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I've heard so much about this one. My daughter Tori, who you see now and again on this channel, says she would have given this 6 out of 5 stars if she could have. So she absolutely loved it. So I'm excited to see why she thought it was so great. I am about 95 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very nerdy, which I love. Also has a lot of Korean references. I didn't mean to read so much Korean stuff lately, but it's happened. It just happens. It just finds me. Yeah. That one I will get done hopefully soon, and then we'll see how that is. Continuing on with a Korean theme, I guess. BTS, who is the biggest K-pop group in the world right now. They just had their 10th anniversary, and they have this beautiful book made for their 10th anniversary. And I wasn't going to buy it, but then it wasn't really that expensive in the end. So I went ahead and got it, and am several 100 pages or so into this one also. And it is telling the story from the beginning when they debuted and all the struggles they had at the beginning. And I'm sure it will continue on. And it's kind of going through every album they have and all the songs. And it's really cool because they are including like the QR codes so that those are all throughout the entire book, so that you can scan those and go straight to the link on your phone for the music videos that they're talking about, or show appearances, or all kinds of things that they're talking about. You can just go straight on your phone and watch the videos for it, which I think is pretty cool. I've been a fan of BTS since 3 years after their debut, which was in 2016, which was about a year before they kind of blew up globally. For me, it's really interesting to hear all these things behind the scenes of what was going on with them. I'm reading it though kind of with the perspective of if somebody reading about them without knowing anything else. And I feel like they're doing a pretty good job explaining things to somebody who has no idea. Do you know what I mean? So like if you're interested in this but you really don't have any background with BTS or K-pop, I think you would still enjoy this sort of thing. They're doing a pretty good job making it make sense to people who haven't been involved. Congratulations though to BTS for 10 years. They are currently not doing things as a group. They're doing solo stuff, and some of them are already into the military, which is something every Korean boy has to do. And so some of them have started that, and some of them are just doing their solo things. So it's going to be interesting to see what their future holds. I will be definitely paying attention to see how that goes down. But those are 2 books. Oh, and I'm also reading one on my Kindle, which is by my son-in-law's brother. And so they asked me to maybe read and review that if I could. He's done a lot of research into the whole idea of what makes people happy. So I am finding that one really interesting so far. I've just read a couple chapters of that one, but I hope to get through that one in the next couple of months. I'm going to kind of read it in between things, you know. So, but I started it and I'm really enjoying it so far, and I am curious to see what he feels like is the key to happiness. Yeah. And then other than those 3, which I've started, I will be reading My Contrary Mary for book club. This is our August book club book. It's a collaboration book by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. And we've read several of their books before, and they take historical characters or book characters and put them in sort of a magical world. And it's really funny, romantic comedy usually. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then if I have any more time for anything else, which I probably won't, then I'm going to continue trying to read some of these other books I've accumulated the last little while. All My Rage and This Woven Kingdom, both by a couple of favorite authors. And hopefully I can get to those soon. I hauled this one with me to Oregon, but did not get to it. Betting on the Boy Next Door by Melanie Jacobson. So those are the ones that are kind of, you know, if I get through those other things, then maybe those ones will be up next. Those are my plans for August. August should be much, much more calm than June and July were. So I expect to do a fair amount of reading. We'll see. But I also expect to get caught up on some video editing and video making, and we'll see how it goes. I did do the K-Tropathon in July. I tried to, but I haven't really looked at the bingo to see if any of my books fit any of those prompts. But I did do the read along, and I did do beauty product, and I did make a Korean recipe, pa jon, for book club. So be sure to catch that little short of that so you can see what that was about. And then I think I have probably filled out a few spots on the summer bingo. So at the end of August, I will let you know how that went down. Anyway, that's where I'm at with my reading, and it's good to be back and to be back to making videos. I have a lot of ideas. Hopefully I can get to those soon. So thank you for watching, and thank you for still being around, even though it's been a while since I've been on here. And let's all have a great reading month. Until next time, happy reading.